Behind all that moving on up charm was a show packed with secrets that'll make your jaw drop. Mysterious disappearances, Broadway drama, airline reservation clerks moonlighting as TV stars, and a cast that somehow managed to keep it all together through 11 seasons of pure chaos. Shocking age gaps to groundbreaking kisses that nobody talks about. These 20 facts will completely change how you see George, Weezy, and all the gang. Trust me, some of this stuff is absolutely wild. Number 20. The show never got a goodbye episode. Let's start with probably the most disrespectful thing CBS ever did. After 11 successful seasons, the network just canceled the Jeffersons without warning anyone. No farewell episode, no proper send-off, nothing. The cast literally found out the same way you would have. Through the entertainment news. Imagine being Sherman Hemsley, thinking you're coming back for season 12, only to discover your show's over via the media. Storylines were left hanging, characters disappeared into thin air, and fans got absolutely no closure whatsoever. It's like someone just pulled the plug mid-sentence. Number 19. Sherman Hemsley was a recluse. Now here's the beautiful irony. Sherman Hemsley played George Jefferson, one of the loudest, most social characters on television. But in real life, the man was practically a hermit. While George was throwing parties and making scenes, Sherman was at home avoiding all the Hollywood gatherings. He'd show up, do his job brilliantly, and then just disappear. Number 18. Sherman Hemsley loved progressive rock. And speaking of Sherman's hidden depths, get this, when he wasn't busy being George Jefferson, he was jamming out to Yes and Gentle Giant. Progressive rock, not soul, not R&B, not anything you'd expect from the guy who ran a dry cleaning empire in Manhattan. We're talking about 20-minute songs with weird time signatures and synthesizer solos. The mental image of George Jefferson headbanging to Roundabout is something I never knew I needed, but here we are. Number 17. The elevator wasn't real. You know that fancy elevator of the Jeffersons' deluxe apartment? Complete fake. It was literally just a door with some sound effects thrown in for good measure. No actual elevator, no fancy mechanics, just pure television magic, and a sound guy with a library of ding noises. For 11 seasons, we all believed George and Louise were riding in style, when really, they were just standing behind a door waiting for their cue. Alright, before we keep going, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit that notification bell. Trust me, we've got 17 more facts coming that are going to blow your mind, and you definitely don't want to miss what happened with the show's most famous kiss. Number 16. Lionel had two different actors. The role of Lionel Jefferson had more casting drama than a soap opera. Mike Evans created the character, then left for other projects, so Damon Evans stepped in. There's no relation despite the name. Then Mike Evans decided he wanted back in, so they wrote out Damon and brought back the original Lionel. Imagine explaining that family dynamic to your neighbors. Oh, our son? Yeah, he looks completely different now, but don't worry about it. Number 15. The first interracial kiss in a sitcom. The Jeffersons quietly made history in 1975 with the first interracial kiss on a sitcom between Helen and Tom Willis. No big announcement, no media circus, just Helen and Tom being a normal married couple doing normal married couple things. While other shows were still tiptoeing around controversial topics, the Jeffersons were out here normalizing interracial relationships like it was no big deal, which honestly it shouldn't have been. But this was 1975, and apparently showing two people who loved each other was revolutionary television. Number 14. Roxie Roker's real life matched her role. Here's what makes Helen Willis even more impressive. Roxie Roker was actually married to a white man in real life. So when she was acting out those interracial relationship storylines, she wasn't just playing a character. She was drawing from her actual experiences. By the way, her son from that marriage grew up to be Lenny Kravitz. So clearly the Willis family had some serious talent genes floating around. Number 13. Franklin Cover hated the fame. Poor Franklin Cover, who played Tom Willis, discovered that being that white guy married to Helen came with some unexpected baggage. The man apparently couldn't go anywhere without being recognized, and he was not having it. I mean, imagine being an actor who just wanted to do good work, only to find out your face is now permanently associated with groundbreaking television history. Number 12. The longest-running sitcom with a primarily black cast at the time. The Jeffersons held the record for longest-running sitcom with a primarily black cast until Tyler Perry's House of Pain came along decades later. 11 seasons of proving that audiences were hungry for diverse television. 11 seasons of showing that stories about black success and family dynamics could draw massive audiences. It's wild that it took until the 2000s for another show to break that record, but hey, progress moves at its own pace, apparently. Number 11. George Jefferson was based on Archie Bunker. Norman Lear basically took Archie Bunker, flipped the script, and created George Jefferson. Same stubborn energy, same opinionated attitude, just coming from a completely different cultural perspective. Lear called George Archie Bunker in reverse, which is both hilarious and brilliant. Instead of a working-class white guy complaining about change, you get a successful black businessman who's still got plenty to say about everything around him. Same energy, different target. Comedy gold either way. Number 10. Norman Lear fought censors. CBS censors were constantly trying to water down the Jeffersons, cutting jokes about racism and classism left and right, but Norman Lear wasn't having any of it. The man fought tooth and nail to keep the show's edge, understanding that sanitized social commentary isn't social commentary at all. Every week was apparently a battle between Lear's vision and the network's comfort level. Thank goodness Lear won most of those fights, because the show we ended up with was infinitely better for his stubbornness. Number 9. Marla Gibbs got her own spinoff. Florence's sharp tongue and perfect timing earned Marla Gibbs her own show called Checking In, focused on her character working at a fancy hotel. Unfortunately, audiences weren't ready for Florence without the Jeffersons, and the show lasted exactly 4 episodes. 4! It's a shame, really, because Gibbs had the comedic chops to carry a show. But sometimes the chemistry of the original cast is just irreplaceable. Number 8. Marla Gibbs wasn't a full-time cast member at first. Speaking of Marla Gibbs, here's a woman who understood job security. During the first season of The Jeffersons, she kept her day job as a United Airlines reservation clerk because she didn't trust Hollywood to pay the bills long term. Smart move, honestly. While other actors were putting all their eggs in the television basket, Gibbs was hedging her bets like a financial advisor. She'd film her scenes, then head back to the airport to book flights for travelers. Talk about keeping your options open. Before we get to the top 7 facts, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying these behind-the-scenes secrets, and let me know in the comments which fact has surprised you the most so far, because we're about to get into some really wild territory. Number 7. The show had a hidden death. When Zara Cully, who played Mother Jefferson, died in 1978, the show handled it in the most awkward way possible. They pretended it never happened. Mother Jefferson just vanished from the storyline without explanation. No funeral episode, no touching tribute, no acknowledgement whatsoever. One day, she was there dispensing wisdom and attitude. The next day, she was gone, and everyone acted like she never existed. Weird choice, but apparently, that's how they rolled in the 70s. Number 6. The cast stayed friends for decades. Now, here's something genuinely heartwarming. Despite all the industry drama and casting changes, the main cast of The Jeffersons remained close friends for decades even after the show ended. They'd reunite for interviews, charity events, and special occasions like they were still one big television family. In an industry known for ego clashes and burned bridges, these folks managed to maintain real relationships long after the cameras stopped rolling. maybe there's something to be said for surviving 11 seasons of comedy together. It either destroys you or bonds you for life. Number 5. Isabel Sanford's age surprise. Isabel Sanford, who played Louise Weezy Jefferson, was 21 years older than Mike Evans, the actor who first played her son Lionel. That means that the age gap between the real-life actors doesn't quite line up with their on-screen roles. If you did the math, it would suggest Louise had Lionel at an unusually young age. Hollywood often bends the rules when it comes to family ages, but this one really stands out. Still, Isabel's talent and chemistry with the cast made it completely believable, even if the timeline would give a genealogist a headache. Number 4. It wasn't supposed to last. CBS originally planned The Jeffersons as a short-term spinoff of All in the Family, maybe a season or two, just to see how it went. Instead, it ran for 11 seasons and became one of the most successful sitcoms in television history. The network basically stumbled into gold. It's like ordering a small coffee and then accidentally getting a venti. Those CBS executives probably spent years congratulating themselves for their brilliant foresight, when really, they just got lucky. Number 3. George was almost played by someone else. Sherman Hemsley was Norman Lear's first choice for George Jefferson, but Broadway had him locked down in a contract. So Lear waited, and waited, and waited some more. Rather than recast the role, he'd held the entire production until Hemsley could break free from the theater world. That's either incredible patience or stubborn determination. Imagine being the network executive trying to understand why production was stalled because one actor was busy singing show tunes 8 times a week. But it worked out because Sherman was absolutely perfect as George, and the wait was worth every delayed week. Number 2. Inspired by a real couple. Norman Lear based George and Louise Jefferson on an actual African-American couple he knew in Queens who had made it big and moved to Manhattan. Real people living real success stories, climbing their own social ladder, and dealing with the complications that come with changing neighborhoods and tax brackets. It's fascinating that one of television's most iconic couples started as real folks just trying to improve their lives. Somewhere in New York, there's probably a couple watching reruns and thinking, hey, that's kind of like our story, not knowing they literally inspired the whole thing. And at number 1, the theme song was a hit.
Well, we're moving on now.
And finally, Moving On Up wasn't just a catchy opening theme. It was sung by Janet DuBois from Good Times and became so popular they released it as a standalone single. A sitcom theme song that people actually wanted to buy and play on their own time. In an era before streaming and YouTube, that took serious musical appeal. The song perfectly captured the show's spirit of ambition and success, and apparently, America couldn't get enough of it. It's the ultimate example of everything about the Jeffersons working in perfect harmony. Even the opening credits were overachieving. So there you have it, 20 facts about the Jeffersons that prove this show was way more complex and interesting than just George's dry cleaning business and Louise's patience. If you enjoy diving into these television secrets, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more behind-the-scenes content. And let me know in the comments which fact shocked you the most. Until next time, keep moving on up.